YouTube. Let's bring Instagram in. It's not doing it. Try it again. Go live. Go. All right, we're now live on YouTube. Now live Instagram. Yo, what's up, guys? Facebook. Let's see. So, got Instagram going here. Charles is with me. Charles Warchow, and he is the virologist we've had on before. Going to get into some vaccine stuff. I just got mine not too long ago, and in about 11-ish days, I think, something like that, I got to take another one. So, be a good time. Let me bring Charles in. Well, real quick. So yeah, we took a couple months off, and getting kind of set up at our production facility. We're having our floors done right now. We're getting them ready to open the tasting room, where we have an amazing view here in Bellingham of Mount Baker right from our place. Pretty incredible. And we're shooting for the end of April to try to have this thing open. Not sure when exactly or what the hours are going to be. So if you guys are in town, be sure and come by, hang out, maybe get some cider. You know, pretty good stuff. Let's see. I also have Charles here. So we're going to get into some vaccine talk. And I also have him coming up here, YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitch too. I thought I would get us on Twitch, see how it goes. You know, I don't even know anything about it really. And I was having a sound issue getting Charles here. So Charles, let me bring you in. All right. And there you are on the screen here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. And now, let me bring you in here. Oh my gosh, did they change it? Oh, Lord. They changed the Instagram setup. Hold on, guys. Let me see if I can find Charles now. I saw you come on. You were like the first one. All right. Charles. Here we go. Let's invite you to come on. So, Charles has been looking up some of the... No? Go live. There we are. I had to click on your picture, Charles, to make it work. Going live with Charles now. Let's see. Come on, Charles. All right, there he is.
Hey.
So let me see. All right, are you hearing us okay?
Yeah, sounds great.
Oh, wow, there you are. I think I'm getting you through the speakers. How's it going? Sound all right?
Yeah, it sounds great. I've got two. There's a slight delay between two setups.
That's right. Yeah. Let me. It sounds like the Instagram is happening quicker. So let me see. Maybe I'll turn down. What about now?
It sounds great.
Okay. Yeah. I turned my sound off here on my computer. So now I'll get you right here, Instagram. So Charles has Instagram feed going, and he was nice enough to get on his iPad or computer and pull up the other setup so we can stream you live on YouTube and Facebook and everything. So, well, thank you for joining us again, Charles.
Yeah, it's great to see you again.
You're like you've been hanging out with me the most out of anybody, I think.
It's a pretty amazing company. I really enjoyed many of the sessions.
Oh yeah. It must be because you and I are so much fun. People just can't get enough, and we have to keep bringing you on, huh?
Yeah, for sure. And it's really cool to see so many people interested in virology, and there's a really good reason why we're talking about this. But it's really cool to see everybody's interested in it, and this is the first time I've been able to connect with people, like this, and have people really interested in it. It's really amazing. It's a really great feeling. It's great to give back, and so that's a special thing for me. And I'm glad to be here.
Is that are you? Do you mean through what we're doing, or are you getting
Yeah.
bugged in other areas as well?
So, some of my close friends, check in with me occasionally, but this is where people, give in the best feedback, and they really appreciate it. And I think especially early, people didn't know what to make of this. There was, a lot of different ideas going around, and people were saying, "Oh, it's just the flu. It's not a big deal." And do I need to wear a mask? And that's one of the first conversations that we had. Should you wear a mask? And seeing the comments, in the chat, here, it was clear that everybody really valued that. In each one of the sessions, we had different focus and recommendations, and just the educational aspect of it has been a lot of fun, and people are into it, and it's really cool.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, I know it's really helped me just talking with you in the early days about this, about how the virus moves around and floats in the air, or does it, what does it do? Hold on, I saw some people mention the sound, but I don't see anyone else having sound issues, so it sounds like I think we're good. But yeah, man, I appreciate it, and I know everyone who gets on and watches this stuff is definitely getting some information. They're not getting anywhere else. So thank you for doing that.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, man. And okay, yeah, looks like sound is cool. All right, so Charles talked to Charles today. So usually, oops, that was me. I have been doing a happy hour with my buddy Tom, and we have been trying to change the format a little rather than just me sitting here trying to figure out what to talk about, things like that. So, or even playing drums sometimes, it gets a little, okay, I did that. But we got a great friend of mine and a business partner of mine that we do the happy hour Thursday nights. We've been going live a couple times, but it is spring break right now. And do you have your kids at home?
Yeah, they're actually all last week, and they're back to school this week, which is good. And
this week, okay. Yeah, ours is this week, and then they go back next week. So, yeah, that's cool. So we were. Tom's gone, so I thought, well, we were going to cancel, but maybe I could just put this together and kind of do an old school style from way back in the days where we used to just get on the phone and just look at each other and chat. So here we are. So yeah, I got my first shot. Did you get a shot?
I did. Yeah, I got a shot 2 weeks ago.
Which one did you get?
The Pfizer.
You got the Pfizer one. Yeah, me too. So, any reactions?
I had like a slightly sore arm that I remember with like a flu vaccine, and but nothing major.
Okay.
My wife also got it, and she got her second shot last week, and it was there were definitely some more. Like the second shot is the harder one. Apparently, it stimulates your immune system more, and when it does that, your body doesn't react as well. It has more of a reaction, I guess would be a better way to say that. And she was kind of knocked out for a day. And a friend of mine actually got his second shot today, and he took a day off work. So that second shot for some people can be a little more dramatic than the first.
Okay, yeah, I got mine coming up in a couple weeks, so that'll be good. And I guess so with the Pfizer one, what do you? I mean, is there any information that we probably don't know about? That you could share, maybe.
Yeah, it's I think it's well regarded for efficacy, like greater than 95% efficacy,
right?
And that's the big one. So that's what we want, and I think. It's and actually all the big vaccines are good. So Moderna also has high efficacy. I think it's like 94%. I think J&J is a little lower, like maybe 84. But those are all good numbers, and no matter what you get, you're in good shape. And the J&J, even though their efficacy is a little bit lower, 84, 85% still high. The key thing is it prevents 100% of the severe infections and hospitalizations go to zero. And so that's
Really?
what you really want, right? That's the absolutely the thing we're most scared about. It's
Right.
the severe disease. So Pfizer, differentiating from the other ones, it's at the top with 95% efficacy, slightly above Moderna, and any of the three that you would run into, are all good options for everybody.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. So that's some. Yeah, I've kind of read about that. The one thing I was curious about, and a pharmacist or a doctor, I'm not sure which she was, but someone at the pharmacy gave me a shot. And my question was, can you still carry it? Like if can I still give it? What's your take on that?
Yeah, at that day that you get your shot, if you have an infection that you don't know about, you could. But once you're immunized, and so it might take a while. I mean, the reason they're giving 2 shots is because 1 shot isn't enough. And so between shot 1 and shot 2, there could be, you could still get it. Like if you got exposed to it a few days before, like within a week of your first shot, you could get it. And there might be a race, between your immune system trying to cancel it and the virus trying to take hold of your body. And you can generate some viral particles and that come through the natural channels of your nose and through talking, we make the aerosols. But this idea of dose is really important. So your immune system is ramping up, and then the virus is trying to beat that, and so the dose that you would likely put out in that situation is really low. So I think the answer is it's possible, but not really likely. And even if it happened, the dose would be really low. You're very unlikely to infect anybody else. Would be what I would think. It's hard to correlate all these things because it's not easy to measure all these things. So there isn't a hard study on this. So I think it's the safety is going to go up with the vaccine. And then certainly after your second dose, that's when your immune system is really kicked in, and then that's where you're going to get the highest benefit, and then that risk should go way down. And it is 95%, so 5% is 1 in 20 people aren't going to respond, so there's still some risk, and I think that's one of the main points I wanted to make too. Is Fauci and several other people are saying this is all great news. It's still early in terms of how well we're going to do, and we still want to take some precautions. I think I'm starting to see people lift the masks around here a little bit more than I'm comfortable with.
Oh yeah, I know, huh?
Yeah, but to get back to your point, this should put the likelihood of that happening way down, and then once we start getting most people vaccinated, the whole idea is to get herd immunity, and then the prevalence becomes so low that the likelihood that anybody's going to transmit goes even down lower. So it's it should all move in the right direction, and once you're vaccinated, the likelihood that you're going to potentially infect someone else should go down a lot, especially after that second dose.
Right. Okay. Is it so? Once you get that second shot, is a couple weeks after till you're at 95%?
Oh yeah. So how long does it take after that? The immune system. I'm less of an immunologist. That's one aspect I haven't studied much, but it does take a little bit of time. So basically, what happens is after you get your body gets exposed to a foreign agent, the immune system kicks in, and it takes 10 days before antibodies show up. And that's a specific antibody called IgM. It's actually like 5 antibodies stitched together. And then that's really potent. And then that one goes down as the IgG comes up. And IgG is what we consider the typical antibody that's responsible for negating most of the virus. And that's the one that sticks around for a longer period of time. So my recollection from days working on HIV, a few years ago, it's about 2 weeks after you're exposed to get a full immune response, a full IgG response, and so that's probably the window. Is about 2 weeks after your second dose, you should be fully vaccinated. But But at the same time, like that doesn't really take into account that you already got one shot, so you're already ramping up and making IgG from your first shot, so you're already going to have some protection, and also that will protect others. And then after your second shot, it's going to go up full, and then maybe it's only I guess I got to stick with the 2 weeks after your second shot, it'll be full, but you're going to get protection after that first dose after about 10 days for sure.
Right. All right. That's cool.
Yeah. And that actually kind of feeds into your earlier question,
Yeah.
how long, after I get vaccinated, if I get a shot, am I vaccinated? So it does take a little bit of time. So it's really about 2 weeks, 10 days to 14 days after your shot. And then for the second shot, it'll be that same period of time.
Right. Okay. So yeah, we were, I was thinking about this. I know, some of the biggest issues that we're going to face. Talked to my manager today, I was wondering about the touring aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And some people aren't going to choose to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
I guess then those people will be the ones that possibly will suffer if they're the ones going around spreading it and catching it, because everyone else won't carry it,
right?
And they won't spread it, right?
Yeah,
won't carry it, won't spread it, and they won't be affected. 95% of them, right? Most likely.
That's correct. Yeah, and there's actually 2 components to that. One is that there's another concept of variants and mutation, right? And I'll come to that shortly. So the strain that we're all protected against right now, if other people spread that aren't vaccinated, they are going to be the most likely to be affected. And then there's a percentage. There's there's fatality rates at about 2%, which is awful. And there's hospitalization rates that I think they're around 10% or something like that. So they're definitely at risk, and it's age dependent, all these sorts of things. And then they will spread. And so that and the risk will be there, and most of us, 95% of us or 85% of us will be protected, and then most of us won't get disease, and most of us won't go to the hospital when we're vaccinated. Then there's the other scenario that we have to pay attention to, which is mutations in the virus that could evade the vaccine. And if that gets into the people that aren't vaccinated, then they could actually spread that more, and it could actually kind of spiral and mutate even more, and then something else could happen. So that's still on everybody's minds, and I was looking into that just briefly. There's not a lot of data yet, because those variants are known. There's one out of England and one out of, I think, Africa, and they're here. They're in the United States already. And what's not known is whether the current vaccine will protect against those also. The thought is that they would likely have some protection. And the backup to that is we just went through one of the most heroic efforts in science and medicine in the past year, getting a vaccine, an unprecedented vaccine, the mRNA vaccines, into us within a year. And so we know how to do that. It's safe, and it would be, I don't want to say easy, but we could easily adapt the vaccine that we have to address those mutations and keep up with that. So it might be like a flu kind of thing where it's just always here. Hopefully we eradicate it, but the worst case scenario is we don't, and then we can generate vaccines against the variants as they come up. And then that would address, the super spreaders are what we're really worried about, the people that don't get vaccinated, or even people that do that still have maybe the variant that could be a problem. So I expect things are going to go down. I hope the current vaccine just hits everything and protects everybody against the variants as well. And then that's the best case scenario. And I hope that from touring, man, I know that's on your mind. It's on my mind too. I miss going to see live music. What is life like without live music? And so I think that. There's that side of it, and then there's like at some point we just have to get on with their lives and just manage this. And I think that's likely where we'll be in 6 to 9 months.
Right. Yeah, I just don't know how this is supposed to go down live until there's some serious, numbers, like you said, trying to eradicate it. I mean, if it's floating around and then people and governments and doctors are just sitting here thinking, well, I guess it's just like the flu now. We just deal with it. If you get it, you get it. Go get a vaccine. Right?
Yeah, and it could end up like that. And flu, you remember the early days were, and even we had this conversation too. It's like, well, how is SARS and COVID actually different than the flu? Is it actually worse?
Right.
And now
What's the stats with that now?
I haven't looked at the stats directly. It's still worse because we're just getting into the vaccine. I mean, it's much worse than the flu, fivefold, tenfold worse in terms of fatalities.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. But now what we're going to do with the vaccine is we're going to bring that down. And so the question is, if we can bring it down to the level of the flu with mitigation and with vaccines and social distancing still, maybe some masks still, if we can bring it back down to the level of the flu, that's our comfort level, right, in terms of dealing with an infectious disease. We feel comfortable with that ideally, and then we can manage that. So I think that would be maybe an endpoint or a target. And ideally, we do even better than that. We could go down below the flu. That would be an even better scenario.
Right, I know. That would be great. Yeah. It's just hard, like you said, with the music. Just there's no answers. I was trying to find out like who's making the decision whether shows actually happen or not.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the venue? And my manager was saying it made a good point. It's like the governor could say it's cool, but then the mayor could say no, we don't want it. And we don't want people going out into clubs right now.
Yeah.
And so there's no real regulation. Just so everyone out there, it's like we're all just kind of playing it by ear. There's no guidelines. No one knows what's going on in terms of how to safely do this stuff. I guess it's an experiment. We're all in a big giant experiment right now.
It is. It is a huge experiment, and all the answers aren't there. And the kind of things we'd like to know is how many people need to be vaccinated in a room, so that transmission rates are low. And I think that's probably the main variable. The other variable is, could we screen people going in? That would be huge. I go to get a haircut, they take my temperature, right? Could we set up, could we train people to adequately catch those things? Probably. I mean, it happens. And when I get a haircut, I went to the computer store, they took my temperature. So these things are doable. And then people would have to also just be honest, because there's a lot of if you're feeling bad, people have to take it upon themselves not to go out, and maybe soak up that ticket and not see your absolute favorite band that you've been waiting for 2 years to see or 5 years to see or whatever. But I think those people will probably go. I mean, some people will go, and sometimes you don't know. I mean, if you feel bad, you're not sure what you have at that. If you feel like a little something coming on, it could be COVID. It's real similar to the flu in terms of onset, And so, I think there's just going to be people that show up and they're going to have it. And then the question is, what's the risk to other people? Well, we know what it is with the flu. If we go out in public and during flu season, there's a likelihood we get it, right? So I think at some point, the government's going to do the doctor's going to do, and the scientists are going to do what they can do. They're going to try to shoot it down, basically. Right, and then at some point, it's going to be close to tolerable. And I think we're probably waiting on the data from that, and maybe we're waiting on more people to get vaccinated. Maybe ideally everybody, or 80% is what they're saying for herd immunity. I don't know hopefully we have people, 80% of the population wants to do that, and then. You could do something more strict, like, hey, show me your vaccination card to get in. People will probably, what do you call it, counterfeit those.
Oh, right. I know. I have one. They're pretty simple to do that, spread that around.
Yeah.
Hey,
version,
okay, so let me check on something here. I saw a message here that says there might be a delay on the sound on Facebook. Is it how's it looking out there, guys? If anyone's on Facebook, YouTube, is YouTube watching, Bono? All right, well, I guess I'll see. Joey, hey, my cousin from Kentucky, Joey, he's on here, and he is asking, hold on, how long is the vaccine good for?
Nobody knows. Yeah, and
what?
Yeah, nobody knows. It's too early. What I can tell you is nobody knows for this particular vaccine. For like hepatitis, I used to work with serum samples and plasma samples and HIV samples, and some of them had viruses in them. So I had to get a hepatitis B shot, and that one persists a long time. So you get a shot, and like I could probably get a titer right now, antibody titer against the antigen. Basically, what they do is take your blood and see if you still have the antibodies against the hepatitis B antigen in this case. And I probably still have protection from a decade ago, you know, and so immunity can persist for a long time for a vaccine. And again, the virus has to stay constant, right? So it can't mutate around whatever the vaccine was. So sometimes they persist a long time, and then other times they don't. And so that's the unknown with the SARS vaccine, is how long will it persist? The hope is it will persist for life. That might be a high bar, and we'll just have to see. And I think the vaccines are coming out. In the last couple of months, people have been getting vaccinated. We should see a report probably at 3 months from onset, 6 months, 9 months. We should see the data roll out, on probably a quarterly basis, I think, to answer that question. But right now, it's not completely known. It is known that some people that have been vaccinated can get reinfected. So that's out there. I don't know what the rates are yet. That number is probably out there, but I haven't seen it. But I think it's rare. Otherwise, I think I would know about it. I would hear more about it.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go, guys. We don't know. I guess you get it and you see how long it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. I muted my thing. Do you have, well, of course you do to hear me. You don't happen to have any earphones on you, do you?
I do. I have earbuds that I could use. You want me to
try
those?
Try them? Because people are saying there's an echo when you're talking. I'm thinking it's your speakers are coming through.
Could be.
So I turned my speakers off here. I'm listening to you through the Instagram feed. Aha.
Yeah. How's that? Is the echo any better?
I wasn't getting an echo. Hey guys on Facebook, YouTube, are you guys hearing any delays now with Charles or an echo with Charles?
I could sing a promise song or something.
Echo on me too. All right, it might be the. God, I'm sorry, guys. Trying to make this happen on my own, and it's a little bit of a technical issue. So I'm echoing as well. All right. Well. All right. Well, let's get to another. So there's been some other questions about the. Hold on. Shema said there was questions on pumping out the vaccine so fast.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thought on that? I mean, I know the FDA approvals. I mean, it's crazy. You read the paperwork they give you, and it says this is not FDA approved, and so it's a little scary.
I didn't know that. Yeah. So I think I looked into what we're getting. So if you're getting Pfizer or Moderna, you're getting an mRNA vaccine, and I'll describe what that means shortly. And if you're getting Johnson & Johnson, you're getting a common virus that is common. It's everywhere, and that virus has this protein plugged into it, and then you get the virus basically, and the virus goes and invades your cells, and then replicates that protein, and then the immune response starts against that protein from that standpoint. So it's a little different technology, and that's why they can do one dose, because the virus is more effective at causing the immune response to the mRNA vaccine. So adenovirus vaccines are known already, so that's fine. So all they're doing is changing one tiny part of it, which is the SARS part, which is called the spike protein. And the spike protein is kind of like the handshake to the cell. It's like, hey, let me in. So that's what it does. And so mRNA actually is something that we all have already. It's in our cells. It's basically you have DNA first, and then DNA gets transcribed into RNA, and then the RNA gets translated into proteins. So it's part of the cellular machinery it keeps us alive and clears waste, and all these helps us think, all these sorts of things. And so mRNA is a natural thing. The one we're getting is synthetic. The procedures for making that are very well known, and for removing the impurities, all this stuff is very well known. So all the science is very strong behind this. And the mRNA vaccine idea is this is the first time it's been employed like this, and it's the first time it's in people, but it's been used. It's been studied for decades or more, and so there's a comfort level with it already prior to walking into this among the vaccination people and the people that are experts at this, and the immunologists and the virologists. So there's a huge comfort level. So even when I read that, and I haven't been involved directly in those discussions, but when I read about those papers and the studies and the concerns, and I read those papers, it makes sense to me as a scientist that all these things are true. And so I think that's why we could do it. So I don't think there was any corner cutting in the manufacturing process or in the clinical phase. I think all the right things were done there. If it's not FDA approved, it's probably because they didn't want to take the liability, maybe, or that maybe there's some technical, some paper pushing kind of thing involved there. But the science is all solid and it's really good. So I think that's why they could do it. And then of course, it is rolled out fast, but it did go through a massive trial. I forget the numbers, but it was definitely hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people already have had this. And the side effects are the biggest things we're worried about. And those are well known. And they're your arm hurts a little bit. You might get a little bit of a fever. You might feel crummy after the second shot. There were some blood clotting issues with the AstraZeneca version. It's in Britain. This seems to be related to a very specific patient population. They've identified those. They could screen those out. So although it came out fast because science has advanced so much and vaccines are so well understood, and mRNA manufacturing has improved, and they could do it on this scale. So that's the reason it came out, is we know a lot and we feel comfortable with it as a community.
So everyone can pretty much feel safe then,
Yeah.
right? Getting these, knowing, even though the immediate vaccines that we're getting didn't have a lot of time, but there is a lot of history.
Correct.
In getting these right.
That's correct.
All right. Well, I feel better.
Good.
Feel a lot better knowing that for sure. We heard a podcast. Hold on. Let me see. Let's get some questions. Has there been anything more serious than normal side effects?
Yeah. So thanks, Sean. I saw that question. There were some blood clotting issues early. I think in one of the vaccines, very, very rare. Like you were talking about 10 cases worldwide. And then there was and I think that was the main thing. I think that actually came out of the AstraZeneca vaccine. That's the one I've heard about. And they're very rare. Nothing major that the normal population at large should worry about. Nothing to my knowledge.
Right. Good. That's pretty cool that, just putting it out there with what we know, or not we, but what you guys know, getting it out there and hopefully saving a lot of people and just doing it that fast. Like it's working. It seems to be working. So.
Yeah, I see a follow-up question there from Johnny.
What do you got?
Any info on whether or not those who feel bad side effects were the same folks who already had the virus? So when my wife got her second shot, that was mentioned. That question was raised, and the administrator mentioned that that people who've had the virus may have a slightly more I don't want to use the word dramatic, but just a more pronounced effect.
Right.
So it can have an impact because your body's already seen it, the virus, and then it's going to ramp up a little harder when it sees it again. So there's some anecdotal evidence around that. I don't know if it's statistical or what the prevalence is. So, but it's not life-threatening. If you've had the virus and you get the vaccine, when I'm talking about, with the I believe it was the AstraZeneca version, that was happening in a very specific patient population. There's a disease associated with that, and so and I can't remember what that was. I'd have to look that up. So if you've had the virus and you get the vaccine, it's still a good idea, I think, to do that. It may help out. It's not really known if you've already had the virus because you should be immunized already. I don't know if it's known that it actually boosts your immune response, but I'd recommend it at this point. I think it's a good idea. People, yeah. So this will the variants are known, and the locations of the mutations in the spike protein are known, and I was just looking at this the other day, and so this is easy. So you just like you got a piece of mRNA. It's like it's this long. It's actually not that long, but it's a certain number of they're called bases. It's a chemical unit, and you make a big polymer of these, and that's what mRNA is, and it encodes for the protein. And so those mutations, it's easy to swap out the bases in the mRNA that encode for that variant. So the variants are known, the ones that are spreading right now, the one from Britain and the one from Africa. And I don't know if Moderna or Pfizer or whoever is actually making it right now, but I can guarantee you they're looking into it already. I guarantee it. That's what they would do, because it's the right thing to do. And so if we need it, I have no doubt it'll be there fairly quickly. How quickly that is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? I don't know that, but I think it's able to. It's in the plan, so I have no doubt.
All right, cool. Yeah, sorry guys, I did have my mic muted because I figured you guys are hearing the Instagram coming through the computer, so I'm trying to work all this at once right now. I think this will be the last time I do it this way. Let's see. Yeah, so let's see. Was there other questions? Oh, any thoughts on supplements, effects, benefits? Andrew P., thank you for that. Or natural boosters or helpers?
Yeah. So there's a lot out there, and the ones that I actually take, I'll just say it like that. So echinacea is proven to help with an antiviral response. And I don't know if that's in general or if it's just, I think it was flu is what I was thinking about it for, and that's like a published study in a medical journal. I think it was Lancet, maybe a decade ago or 5 years ago or something like that. And so that one you got to use right away though. So like if you start feeling like something might be coming, and sometimes you do it right, and sometimes you go, oh yeah, yesterday I started noticing I was feeling a little tickle or sneezed or whatever. So echinacea is a good one, and the other one is zinc is the other one, and zinc's pretty cool. It's a tolerated metal, and there's not a lot of it that's unbound in your cells, and it seems to have an impact and be and I should actually be able to cite some papers. I haven't thought about this for a while, so maybe next time I can look something up. But you can buy zinc supplements. The trick is if you take too much zinc, it makes you nauseous. So be careful with that, and don't take too much of it. It always makes me nauseous. I always take more than it says. Yeah, don't take zinc on an empty stomach. Johnny is saying. So that's another one that I do, and look into it and think about it, and don't take too many of those. Does it work? I don't know. It's like those kind of things are around, and nobody studies them. It'd be nice if there was a scientific study like that on zinc, and I haven't seen it yet. Maybe I could try to look that up. It must not be there. I think I would have found it by now. But that seems to be one that's important too, that I like. And the key thing is, do they work? And that's maybe, and there's a lot of other factors in how your body responds. The dose, as I mentioned, is really important. Your own immune system is really important, and those are probably bigger factors than taking zinc or echinacea.
Here's a good thank you. That's good to know. Here's a good question. Any insight on immunities being passed to babies through pregnancy or unborn? How is that going to affect the genetics? Because I hear these vaccines aren't actually like a gene therapy, right?
They are not a gene therapy, so they will not get incorporated into your genetic makeup. So it is genetic material, and that's the difference. And so you have to differentiate genetic material from integration of that genetic material into your genome. So HIV, that's what it does. It copies some of its genes and puts them in the genome, and then that's why we can't fully cure HIV, because once it's in the genome, you can't edit right now. Although maybe with CRISPR is a whole other topic that's really cool. Maybe one day we'll be able to cut those out and fix those kind of things, and that would be ideal. But mRNA, it's a piece of genetic material, but it just goes in the cell, and then it tricks the cell into what's called translating it into protein. So it converts the RNA into the protein, the spike protein. That's all unnatural. I don't want to say unnatural, but it's all foreign, and it's induced. And then when that's done, the mRNA actually gets degraded, because there's degradation mechanisms for RNA in a cell, and so the RNA goes away. And there's to my knowledge no way to just put a piece of RNA in a cell and then have it be automatically incorporated into a genome. That takes a ton of work to do that scientifically. So that's not happening. And the same thing with the adenovirus. Like, the adenovirus doesn't have the machinery to paste anything into the genome, into the human genome inside a cell. So it's just there. It's a virus that is benign. There's a whole bunch of viruses that we all have right now that we don't even know about. I worked on one called BKV for a while. Like 80% of us have it, and it doesn't do anything. And so adenovirus is like that. It just kind of hangs out, doesn't do anything. It's a bystander. But it does make this protein for us, in a vaccine context. So we don't have to worry about that. To your point about does it get passed to the child? It should not. It should not be integrated into the parent's genome, and therefore it should not be passed on to the child. Another tangent of that would be, do mothers provide immunity to their children through breastfeeding? And yeah, that's very well known. And what's the link directly to SARS is something I'm less that I don't quite understand as well. I don't know if that's been studied yet. And the other thing is, children are more immune to this anyway. And so, and that's not understood yet either. Like, why are kids, largely immune to? They can get infected, they can pass the infection, but they don't get the COVID disease for some reason. Like, they don't end up in the hospital as frequently, if at all, and they don't get the really bad disease. So there's a whole lot going on there. I'm not sure if I answered that question as was asked.
No, man, that's great. That's really good to know, because I believe we might have heard that in a podcast from a doctor, talking about, not how this is not an actual vaccine. This is a gene therapy, like used with chemotherapy, cancer kind of approach.
Yeah. No, not. I don't see it that way at all. Those are very different. Gene therapy is there are some gene therapies out there, like there's several. They're trying to do gene therapies for sickle cell anemia, where people don't make the right red blood cells, and they're trying to correct the gene flaw there through some genetic manipulations. That's very different. There's one for a disease where I forgot, I should know the name of this, but there's children who have this terrible disease where they're deficient in an enzyme that helps their brain function, and they get this at birth, and then within a year they're going to die. And so people figured out how to put that in the gene that they're missing into also adenovirus, and then that the body will make that protein, and these kids are survivors, like long-term cured survivors. It's astonishing, and it's pervasive, and so gene therapy is very well known. Moderna and Pfizer are not doing gene therapy. You could argue maybe a little bit that the adenovirus vaccine is like that, but it's not a long-term thing that's going to, it's not something different that's being put into people that's deleterious or traceable. I mean, I guess if it persists, I don't know how long the adenovirus persists. I'm not an expert on adenovirus, but gene therapy is a very different kind of thing, in my opinion. And it's not like oncology or any of that. And I know a little bit about that.
Wow. Okay, that's good news.
Yeah.
Shama's asking. So adenovirus is also helpful in that regard. So
I'll say a few things, and maybe you can see if I'm on point. adenovirus is a bystander, and I can look into this as far as I understand it. It can cause actually some problems. I think it can cause eye infections if I remember right. But the one that we're getting, and don't quote me on that in terms of the context, because it's a different context. Maybe I shouldn't even have said that so people don't draw a parallel. But my understanding of adenovirus is it's a very common pervasive virus in humans and probably other mammals too. But it's just a bystander. It just hangs out, and adenovirus itself doesn't do anything, and that's why the gene therapy people like it, because it's safe. So if you get, if we're probably all exposed to it all the time and nothing happens, and because it's safe, then they can start asking questions. Well, if I take this gene for this terrible childhood disease that I mentioned, or for sickle cell anemia, and I paste it in there, will the body make that gene? And then will it have, a curative effect on people with sickle cell anemia, or on this terrible genetic disease that I mentioned too? So that's when it becomes beneficial, is when it's manipulated to try to cure disease. The adenovirus itself doesn't do those things. It's when the biologists and the cell biologists and the virologists and the MDs and all these people get together and say, hey, we want to fix this problem that we know about. We're going to paste this gene in there, and then that's when it becomes a gene therapy, I think. Does that help?
Oh yeah, I think for a basic level, most people out here watching, and me myself, yes,
Cool.
that's really informative. It's definitely good to know that the vaccine itself. I mean, I think we feeling better, about getting it and not having it, as we have heard. How it's going to affect your children and their children, and
No,
down the road.
like that. Yeah.
Um, Another issue is hold on, I muted your mic real quick on this. One thing is like people with a lot of allergies. Have you heard anything about the allergic reactions?
Yeah. So allergies can be. First, let me start out by saying I don't know. I haven't heard anything about the current vaccines in terms of allergies. And I should go search that and see if I can find anything. And you guys can Google these things too, obviously. And that's where as you pointed out last time, that's where I learn a lot. I scan a lot of stuff and try to find answers to key questions, and the most of it isn't covered directly in the scientific literature. It's out there in the New York Times and the Washington Post, and all these great places. The Mayo Clinic publishes stuff online. But anyway, so I haven't heard of any allergies. When allergies are associated with vaccines, they're often associated with the flu. And the flu vaccine is actually grown in eggs. They actually crack the top of the egg open, inoculate it with some virus, and then the flu virus propagates in there. And then they grow it for a while, and then they purify the virus, and they usually heat it and they kill the virus, and then they purify it away from the egg material. And so most often what you see is, and that's why you see when you go get a flu vaccine, are you allergic to eggs? And it's because the flu vaccine that you're probably getting has been contaminated with some eggs, and they can't get rid of 100% of it. They get rid of like 99% of it or something. So that's usually what what allergies are associated with when you think of vaccines, is that there's byproducts associated with the flu vaccine. And so with the mRNA vaccine, there shouldn't be any. There's nothing in there. There's no egg involved in that particular one. It's all synthetic. It's all this mRNA stuff. The only thing I know about that's in there, I was looking at the ingredients the other day. There's sugar in there. There are no eggs in the COVID vaccine, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, Kaladi. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about that. What's in the mRNA vaccines? There's some things called lipids. There's stabilizers. I think I saw phosphatidylcholine, which is a common component of cells. We already have phosphatidylcholine in us. And there's another lipid that I saw that I don't recognize. I don't know if it's natural or unnatural, but it's been tested, and it basically helps the mRNA get across your cells. So your cells are kind of impermeable to a big thing like mRNA. So they have to formulate it such that it it can associate with your membrane and then get through. And there's a lipid that's very specific to that in there. And maybe that causes a little bit more of the discomfort, because I know that's not common for the non-mRNA vaccines. Like the flu vaccine doesn't have that particular compound in there. So that might be the only thing, but there should be no allergic reaction from that. Like that's not an immunogen that I'm aware of. So far, I'm not aware of anything. Could there be something? We probably need to do a little bit more research to confirm that, but we shouldn't have to worry about that. Is my thinking.
Right. Yeah. Shama had asked, and I heard, well, we heard together that we would need to get revaccinated in 6 months. But earlier you said they don't know for sure how long it lasts. So, what's your, what are you thinking? Should we do it in 6 months, or just kind of, is there any way to even test to know whether you need to take it again?
Yeah. So they can. There'll probably be an antibody test. And there are antibody tests. I don't know if there's a universal one yet. Like the PCR test that people take to show positivity is very robust, and almost anybody can make that and do it. The antibody tests take a little bit more work, but they're there. So if in 6 months, it's possible that you could get an antibody test, and they could say, hey, your titer's fine, and you don't need to get anything. Or maybe it's like it's too low, and they recommend getting a vaccine, or maybe it's no big deal, and you just get another vaccine in 6 months anyway. Maybe it's not worth even doing the testing. So I did hear that 6 months time frame. I haven't seen any definitive studies on that yet. I think there is concern that it's not as persistent as what I was saying for hepatitis B antigen. So I think my advice is wait on that one and see what else we learn in the next 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, that might be why they said it. It's just
They
to
don't
buy
know.
time until they can figure out what it really seems to be doing.
Yeah.
Um, wow, man, amazing information. Thank you. I think a lot of us are feeling better about the getting vaccinated for sure.
Good.
And when I got the first one, my arm was sore for a few hours and it went away. I couldn't tell, but I felt like maybe my head was a little warm, but I didn't seem like I had a fever. So that's good to know that we're not messing with our genes. So everybody out there,
Definitely not.
it sounds like Charles always makes it sound like it's a good idea to get the vaccine for sure. It's not gonna make your arms fall off or anything like that, I don't think. So I think we should do it, and then maybe we can open up some venues and get some performances going again and get people safe.
Have fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there, though. Man, we've got family in Florida, people in Texas, and they're just full on wide open, like this thing just doesn't even exist.
Right.
It's scary.
That'll be the test case. Those will be the testing grounds. And like New York Times, I look at a lot. They have a really nice map. It's like a heat map that shows where the cases are, taking off, and it's moved around the country over a period of time. And they also show the deaths, and you can kind of get an idea of how crazy things are. And it's still out there, by the way. We're still, the death rate is still, I think it's like around 500 people per day or so, which is, that's a far cry from where we were, 3 months ago. But that's a good place to kind of see how things are going, and and certainly there are regional biases in what people want to do, and we just have to respect that. I think people have to have some freedom here, and I totally understand that. I choose a different path, and that's my choice, and I respect their choice too. And but at the same time, if they're not worried about it, and Florida stays cool, right? Then that's a good indication, that things are working, or maybe that things are on the downside. There is a potential that we'll get herd immunity independent of the vaccine. We could wait, and just all get it, and then we essentially were immune to it for a period of time, because that's how it works. But and that's, and there's a case for that, and some people some people that are more holistic and they don't, want modern medicine and these sorts of things. That's a reasonable philosophy also. I like what Fauci said about that. He, and I am a scientist, so I do gravitate towards what he says and believe in it also. And he said basically that would be unethical, is what he was thinking. I don't know if he used exactly that word, but the reason is because just so many people would die. Because you can have that, but two out of 100 people, or three, or if you're a lot older, even more, people are going to die if we take that approach, and we're going to lose people, and so then you go to, like, there's the arguments around that, right? The survival of the fittest and all these sorts of things, and Darwinianism, how to be able to say that flawlessly. But there's those arguments too. So it's a lot to think about, and I think I'd rather get vaccinated and just because it's about me, certainly my safety, but I also care about other people's safety, my family, my immediate family. We're all concerned about people we would go see a show with, right? To some extent. So that's my own personal view on that, and so we'll see. Family in Texas and Florida, they might just be fine too. So we'll see.
What's your thought on the Johnson and Johnson, the one shot?
Yeah, that's really appealing. I mean, and actually that's a pretty good one. So that one again is the adenovirus version, instead of the mRNA version. One shot's really appealing. I don't really want to go back and get a second shot, especially if it's going to be if the symptoms are going to be worse after getting it, right? So, hearing that it's only 80% effective, but it's 100% effective at preventing severe COVID, the disease, and I think I saw 100% effective at preventing hospitalizations too. Those are the two major things that we're worried about. So, if I had a choice, I might just do that one. I didn't have a choice. Pfizer was the one that was out. So, but if J&J was the one was available, would I say I wish I had? No, I'm going to wait for Pfizer. No, I would have taken the J&J.
Yeah, I was looking for the J&J too, but the Pfizer one came up and it was right down the street, so I was just like, okay, I'll do that and then go get the second shot. So,
yeah.
Wow. Well, Charles, everybody, Charles again, War Child, and thanks again for coming on and giving us a little information on this crazy vaccine world we're in.
You're very welcome, and thanks for being a great host and asking so many great leading questions.
Nah, it's not me, man. It's all these people out here, man.
I was coming to that too. Thanks to all of you too.
I'm lost in technical world trying to make sure it's not feeding back on YouTube or Facebook and all this crap. So, anyways, I think on Instagram we are going to end this because it is approaching 1 hour, and so I think Instagram is going to cut us off unless they change stuff. But yeah, Goob says you rock. Anybody got any questions on Instagram? Because we'll keep this going on YouTube until we're done. We'll probably end it soon as well, but I think I need to finish this Instagram thing first because that's just going to cut right off. All right, well, if no one has any other questions, everyone's saying thank you again, Charles. Definitely for all of this. It's really awesome. And let's see, 2 minutes. Yeah, are you real quick playing some music or anything? Doing anything fun?
I'm thinking more about it. I actually just moved to a different house, and so I've been super busy with all that madness. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We needed a bigger place for my tribe, and my wife was really driving that. I was like, I don't want to move during a pandemic, and it was the holiday season, and it just worked out. We found a great place. It's got a few more bedrooms, and we needed more space for my 4 kids and all their mayhem, and so we did that. But I'm looking at my gear, my guitar that was sitting right here, and I want to start playing again. And I was actually playing a little bit today, so I want to get more serious about it. It's therapeutic. It feels good, right? So we got to have music in our lives, and it's fun to play and to create.
I know, dude. I got here. Everyone can see. I got drums sitting here. I barely touched them.
I love it when you play, man. You got a vibe, and you get a different. You get it into the zen of it. You got your gongs. It's really cool.
Oh man, thank you. Yeah, it's a little weird. I was having some tendonitis type stuff around the elbows. So it's kind of been good that I have not been playing. But
Get up a little bit.
I still have pain just even touching the joint, just right on top. It's weird. I don't know what it is. But anyways, all right. Instagram about to end. Charles, thank you again. I'm sure I'll bug you again once we feel like, hey man, we should get some info. You know,
Yeah,
what do you got?
I'm happy to come back for sure. Thanks for
Man,
having
thank
me.
you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So if you want, here, let me end the Instagram and I'll move over here to the Facebook, Instagram, or the YouTube thing. All right, guys. Thank you. Oh my God. Of course, the vaccine will make all of your wildest dreams come true. There you go, guys. And go to herbcider.com. They're the ones bringing all this to you. So, all right. All right. We'll talk to you soon on Instagram. Bye, guys. All right, so I ended that, Charles. Thank you. And now we've got the. Let me get on the camera here. So now we got the. Am I muted? Yes. Hopefully the sound is okay. But I will. We should probably end this so we can get dinner and all that. So, thank you again. Hold on, I got to turn my sound on. Hopefully, without echoing. All right, you there, Charles? I can hear you. Can you hear me? Nope. You good, Charles? All right. I think we have technical issues. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. That was the, where are we at? April 7th today, I think. A lot of Aries birthdays happening. I'm an Aries. Oh, wait. Charles is coming, ringing back. Yo, Charles, what's up?
I dropped out. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to drop out. Was I dropping out?
Man, I don't know, man. I'm trying to be technical guy. Oh, today's April 8th. Thank you. I got my birthday coming up. Yes, someone just mentioned that. So, anyways, yeah, I was going to say we should end this on YouTube. Everybody, Facebook, thanks for joining with Charles. We'll get into it someday down the road. See how everyone's doing on the viral world. You know. All right, man. Well, thank you again. I'll end this. Stop nonsense.
Take care.
Stop this. All right, man. Thank you. See you later.
Bye.
All right, that was Charles, everyone. Again. So, all right. Anybody got any last questions? So, yes, I was doing the Instagram, and up here we're doing YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. So, you're welcome. As Joe, my cousin. It's new to YouTube and Facebook, but I've got a lot of the old kind of happy hours we did on Instagram. I put them up on YouTube, so you can see those as well. And we have a new kind of thing with me and my buddy Tom, and that's pretty fun. More of a happy hour than what you would call this, me kind of talking nonsense. So anyways, I'm going to end this. Thank you guys again. You can go. Hold on. Let me get some cool stuff. Oh man, I don't have it up. Shoot. Oh wait. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Yeah, herbcider.com right there, everyone. You can see that. And we have some new packaging, and go to herbcider.com and you can see the cans coming out. We've got the double stroke is available. We've got the triplet, which is a lemon lime, which is really good, and the black note, which is a black currant. These all have very low sugars, very low carbs, and it's a really nice thing when you're ready to relax for the day. Take it easy. If you're doing alcohol, no worries if you're not. Maybe go on. We're going to get some cool merch coming very soon as well. Trying to make this a real business. So, trying. Yeah, so be sure and check it out. We're going to do the happy hour with Tom when he gets back. We might save the live thing for special occasions, but otherwise we might kind of record these and put them up. So follow us on YouTube and subscribe. It's a good place to be. You can watch this in really good quality. I believe I have pretty good quality going, people are saying. Anyways, we'll talk to you soon and take it easy.